From within the blossoms of Africa, a small country with wonderful landscapes and breathtaking mountains, lies a history deeply etched by the darkest of tragedies. The scars of the Rwandan genocide run deep, a brutal chapter that irrevocably altered the nation's narrative. From the ashes of a devastating genocide, fueled by a collective will to heal and transform, Rwanda emerged on a path to become the Singapore of Africa. A beacon of economic success in a region marred by challenges. Its economic resurgence has become a beacon of hope in a region overshadowed by hardship, earning Rwanda its deserved spot as a continental success story. Today, the country is considered one of the least corrupt and most stable countries in Africa. It ranks as the 49th least corrupt of 180 countries, analysed by Transparency International in the 2020 edition of its annual Corruption Perceptions Index. The tale began in the late 1990s, in the heart of Africa. Amidst lush green hills and vibrant tapestry of cultures, a darkness descended upon Rwanda in 1994, following the assassination of President Juvenal Habyarimana, a Hutu, on April 6, 1994. This event acted as a catalyst, intensifying the long-standing ethnic tensions between the majority Hutu and minority Tutsi populations, tearing the nation apart. Despite sharing a common Bantu ancestry and culture, historical colonial influences have accentuated these differences, with the Tutsi, once favoured by colonial masters, now facing annihilation. The swift aftermath of the assassination saw extremist elements among the Hutu exploiting the situation to blame the Tutsi, setting the stage for a horrifying escalation of violence. Within hours, organised and systematic killings began, orchestrated by extremist Hutu elements within the government, military, and even civilians engaged in widespread massacres of Tutsi and moderate Hutus, involving indiscriminate killing of men, women, and children in homes, streets, and places of worship. Exploiting radio broadcasts and other media, misinformation was disseminated, fostering hatred against the Tutsi and portraying them as a perceived existential threat to Hutu power. The scale of the tragedy was immense, with over 800,000 people, approximately 10% of the population, losing their lives. Shockingly, reports suggested that up to 75%, that is 3/4 of the Tutsi population, perished in the genocide. The international community's response was initially hesitant, with UN peacekeeping forces failing to effectively prevent the unfolding atrocities. It was only after considerable damage had been done that increased pressure led to the deployment of humanitarian aid and troops. Millions of people were internally displaced or became refugees, fleeing the country to escape the violence. The intervention of the Rwandan Patriotic Front, RPF, a Tutsi-led rebel group based in Uganda, played a crucial role. Through several counter-offensive attacks against the genocidal regime, they gradually gained ground, eventually capturing Kigali, the capital, in July 1994. This marked the effective end of the genocide. However, the aftermath left Rwanda grappling with immense challenges, including mass displacement, widespread trauma, and the formidable task of rebuilding a fractured society. The genocide left a devastating legacy and continues to cast a long shadow over the nation's history. Peace, however, did not erase the trauma yet. Rwanda, fueled by resilience and a spirit of unity, began to mend. The years after the genocide from 1994 until 2000 were harsh and chaotic for Rwanda. Roughly 10% of the population had died as a result of the genocide. At least 2 million refugees had been displaced. The country existed in a state of limbo. Uncertainty about whether or not the Rwandan Patriotic Front would engage in revenge killings lingered. Furthermore, refugees had moved from Rwanda into neighbouring Zaire, triggering another conflict there. A second, smaller genocide followed. Tutsi extremists would massacre 235,000 Hutu refugees who had crossed the border. In the aftermath of the Rwandan genocide, the nation stood at the crossroads of despair and hope. Deep scars marked both the land and hearts of its people. The path to economic recovery was a gradual journey, marked by strategic planning, visionary leadership, and unwavering determination. Key to this transformation was a commitment to unity and reconciliation. President Paul Kagame, assuming office in 2000 after playing a crucial role in ending the genocide, emerged as a pivotal leader. Under his guidance, Rwanda steered towards stability and growth, marking a remarkable turnaround from the devastation of the past. The first step on Rwanda's path to recovery was a commitment to reconciliation. He understood that rebuilding wouldn't just be about bricks and mortar, but about mending the very fabric of Rwandan society. His visionary leadership led to the establishment of gacaca courts, a unique approach to justice rooted in traditional Rwandan conflict resolution practices. In the years following the genocide, these community-based courts played a pivotal role in fostering unity among the deeply divided population. Gacaca courts, manned by community elders and judges well-versed in local customs, departed from conventional punitive systems. Instead, their focus was on restoring harmony within communities fractured by the genocide. What set gacaca apart was its emphasis on restorative justice, involving public confessions, community service by perpetrators, and reconciliation between victims and wrongdoers. Despite facing criticism for inconsistencies in rulings, a lack of legal training for gacaca judges, and concerns about potential political interference in high-profile cases, the impact of gacaca on community healing, social reconstruction, and addressing the overwhelming number of cases cannot be understated. It provided a crucial space for victims to share their experiences, perpetrators to confront their actions, and the nation to collectively embark on a journey of forgiveness, trust-building, and long-term social cohesion in the wake of mass atrocities. Education became the next priority for the government, as it understood that a skilled and educated workforce was the bedrock of economic development. The government poured resources into rebuilding schools, training teachers, and promoting higher education. The national literacy rate soared from 56.9% in 1990 to 78.1% after the genocide, with the rate of primary education enrollment reaching 98.2% in 2020. More girls are now enrolled in school than ever before, and the government has implemented various initiatives to improve the quality of education, including curriculum reforms, standardized testing, and investments in teacher training and technology. As the nation healed, focus shifted to economic revitalization, epitomized by the Kigali Special Economic Zone, KSEZ. With well-planned infrastructure and a tech-oriented approach, the KSEZ attracted over $2 billion in foreign investments, hosting 100-plus companies like Volkswagen, Sobedo, and DHL, generating 15,000-plus jobs. Offering streamlined business registration, efficient customs clearance, and available office space, the KSEZ drastically simplified operations. Rwanda's commitment to a business-friendly environment, seen in a 6-hour business registration process, resulted in policy reforms, reducing bureaucracy and corruption. The World Bank's Ease of Doing Business Index began reflecting these changes, placing Rwanda among the top performers in Africa. The nation's leadership was recognized for its strategic and disciplined governance, drawing comparisons to Singapore's rise in the 20th century. Recognizing the vital role of agriculture in the majority's livelihoods, Rwanda invested in transforming the sector from subsistence to commercial farming post-genocide, encouraging modern methods, such as soil conservation and organic fertilizers, increases productivity and environmental sustainability. Food security surged from 57% in 1990 to 78% in 2020. Rural infrastructure investments like roads and storage improve market access for farmers, connecting them to broader consumer bases. The emphasis on processing and adding value to products, especially coffee and tea, boosted export revenues and created jobs. This strategy resulted in a remarkable 140% increase in agricultural productivity from 1994 to 2020, contributing 32% to the GDP. Agricultural exports witnessed a staggering growth of 500% between 2000 and 2020. Rwanda's commitment to modernizing and commercializing agriculture not only enhanced food security, but also propelled economic growth and sustainability in the sector. Rwanda's transformation extended beyond infrastructure to embrace environmental sustainability, particularly in the realm of renewable energy. In 1994, only 10% had access to electricity, primarily sourced from fossil fuels, leading to pollution and emissions. To address this, Rwanda strategically shifted towards hydro, solar, and geothermal power. Over 65% of the nation's electricity now comes from renewables, with a target of 100% by 2030. This was achieved through implementation of key projects, like the Ndera Hydro Power Plant 2019, generating 56 megawatts, and Kivu Watt, a floating solar plant on Lake Kivu 2021, producing 50 megawatts, showcased Rwanda's commitment. The Kisie Geothermal Power Plant, generating 28 megawatts, demonstrated the country's geothermal potential. By 2022, over 70% of the population had electricity access, largely from renewable sources. The increase in the renewable energy share, 2000 to 2022, went from 6% to 65%, contributing to a 20% reduction in carbon dioxide emissions, 2010 to 2020. The projected 4% GDP growth from green initiatives by 2030 underscores Rwanda's dedication to a sustainable and green economy. Rwanda's narrative unfolds in staggering numbers: an 8% GDP growth, poverty halved in 2 decades, and life expectancy soaring from 46 to 68 years. Yet, the true success lies in the people's eyes. Women, once silenced, now hold 61% of parliamentary seats, their voices shaping the nation's narrative. A refugee girl dreams of coding the future, while a farmer, once drought-fearing, thrives with rainwater-nourished fields. Rwanda's journey isn't without its challenges. Challenges persist, with lingering questions about political freedoms. Yet, the spirit of the nation remains indomitable. Its story is a testament to the power of human resilience, a beacon of hope whispering that even from the deepest darkness, a nation can rise again, scripting a luminous chapter in history. The comparison to Singapore is inevitable. Both nations birthed from turmoil into economic powerhouses. However, Rwanda's path is uniquely its own. Focused on healing and reconciliation, it counters Singapore's authoritarian model. Rwanda's tale transcends economic success. It's about forgiveness blooming from deep wounds, unity rebuilding fractured societies, and desolate landscapes flourishing. Rwanda stands not just as an economic powerhouse, but as a proof of the human spirit's resilience. It's a beacon of hope, not just for Africa, but for the world, whispering that even the most profound scars can heal, and even the most fractured societies can rebuild, creating a brighter future woven from unity, forgiveness, and audacious dreams.